Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Man, it is crispy this morning. So I'm spending a week in the Poconos, right? Working remotely. And something that this has helped me realize, there's too much noise, right? Just in general, in our lives, everything around us, too much noise. Too many distractions, and that's kind of what noise is. Noise becomes a distraction and takes away from the things that we should really focus on, right? And being up here for a couple of days, it was a little eerie at first, right? Over the weekend, ton of campers at the campground, made a ton of sense because it was noisy, right? But as the work week rolls around, camp empties, people go back to work. And I was walking around and just kind of identifying with how quiet and how still things were. And for a moment, how eerie that felt. Just, we're so used to having so much movement and so much activity going on in our lives that it's happening all around us and it's consuming. And we find some comfort in that noise, right? We find some comfort in the distraction, and we find some solace in knowing that there's activity. Whether or not we're being active, the activity going on around us helps us feel active, right? But what is that doing to everything else around you, right? The noise, is distracting you from something, right? If you're like me, I'm one of those folks that I turn the TV on and I get on my phone. I get caught up on Twitter, get caught up on Instagram, get caught up on the news. College football season is about to start, so definitely zoned in and focused on that. But there's so much going on. It's so heavy, right? It's just so weighting. Weighting? I feel like that fits. That there's no focus really put in one area. It's jumping to the TV, back to the phone, to whatever's going on in the kitchen, to whatever's going on behind me, that everything is just, it's kind of circular, it's cyclical, it's just moving around, right? And that carries over into the professional life, right? Where we're multitasking. We're multitasking to keep busy. We're multitasking because by multitasking, we're able to keep our brains going and going and going. And then the distraction of the phone, the distraction of the email, the distraction of everything that's going on around us. That it's okay for a short period of time, but for me, eventually it crashes. And that noise just becomes so loud, I have to turn it off. Have you ever been driving down the road, radio going, podcast going, whatever, and you just found it so distracting that you couldn't pay attention to the road, that you had to turn the radio off? That's the type of noise that I'm talking about, where it becomes so much and so heavy that you have to turn it off. So here's my challenge, and this is something I'm challenging myself. Right, but I wanted to share it and extend the challenge to you guys as well. Being in the quiet and being in the stillness can be very uncomfortable because we're so used to so much movement going on around us, especially today when there are so many different types of distractions. So my challenge is to find those, maybe it's 5 minutes, right? The ultimate goal would to be longer, right? To spend hours disconnected, noise turned off. But like other things that are habits or other things that are addictive, because that noise can be an addiction, because it's comforting, right? It puts us in our comfort zone. So I'm challenging myself to find pockets throughout the day where there are no distractions. Sure, that should be while I'm at work, but email is a distraction. The phone is a distraction. The environment that you're in can be a distraction. So these walks that I do where I'm distracted by my phone that's right in front of my face, oddly enough, is very comforting for me because it's singular. It's very focused. And that's kind of what these kind of walking and talking videos are for me. It's that moment where I can focus on one singular thing. And what that practice lets me do is extend that into other areas of my life, where I may not have you guys watching me do this, but I can put myself in that same state. The gym is another place where it's the same thing. It's very singular focused. So that's a challenge that I'm going to throw out there, is identify where there's noise in your life, or how much noise there is in your life, and can you start to reduce it over time, right? Identifying what's bringing that noise or what's bringing that stressor, and like any other habit forming routine, can you slowly eliminate it by spending pockets of time singularly focused on something else. This here, me and you right now, can be therapeutic for me. It's almost meditation. It's almost as if I'm literally talking into a mirror as a reminder. Thank you guys for allowing me the space to do this. But I want you guys to find something that's like that for you. Maybe it's the gym, maybe it's a dark room, maybe it's sitting in the woods, right? Figure out what it is, slowly reduce the noise that's in your life so that you open yourself up for other things, right? Other avenues of singularly focused, fill in the blank, right? Guys, again, thank you so much for the support. Last week's video, I've had a handful of folks walk up to me just out on the street, friends of mine, pulled me aside and let me know that whatever I was saying is exactly what they needed to hear at that time. And that is the biggest reminder for me that how that noise negatively affects us is it changes the way that we communicate, right? So figure out how to eliminate the noise, and you know what? Start talking to each other, right? Let the noise that is surrounding you be the voices of your friends and family, not the static from the TV and the cell phones. Guys, have a great week.